Planet Dolan.
From contortionist prisoners to conman convicts, we look at 7 crazy prison escapes that shouldn't have been possible. Number 7. The Texas 7. Now, the Texas 7 were a ramshackle group of prisoners that managed to escape a maximum security prison. By pretending they wanted to work through their lunch hour, they managed to overpower a number of guards and some fellow nosy prisoners. Many of the people that they overpowered were lured into a deserted maintenance area, and then, bang! They were bopped on the back of the head. Impressively, while escaping, the inmates didn't even kill anybody. They just tied them up like damsels in a silent movie. Some of the prisoners dressed as guards, storming a tower before stealing some of the weapons. They then phoned the other guard tower to create a diversion. The others dressed themselves in civilian clothing, pretended to install security cameras, and when the staff were thoroughly convinced that this was all legit, these prisoners hid in the back of a stolen maintenance pickup truck, picked up the guys in the guard uniforms, and drove the truck off into the sunset. Well, after a month on the run, these stealthy Texans were finally caught. These cowboys rolled the dice and somehow they won, but only temporarily. Number 6. Korean Houdini. A man nicknamed the Korean Houdini managed to escape prison by squeezing out of the food slot in the door of his cell. A mere 5 days after Choi Gap-bok had been arrested for robbery, he was squeezing out of his cell door like it was a tube of toothpaste, and his 50-year-old Korean body was the minty fresh gel. His secret? He had practiced yoga for 23 years. Now you would think with 23 years of experience under his belt, he would have learned a useful skill, like sucking his own dick. But nope, he just learned how to break out of jail. Useless. So anyway, while the guards were asleep, he used body lotion to, lube himself up, and he slid on through the food slot. It rubs the lotion on the skin, or else it stays in Korean jail. Choi managed this feat in just 34 measly seconds. Unfortunately, though, Choi was caught after 6 days on the run. I say unfortunately because it would have been so awesome if this guy would have joined the circus. Number 5. Have you ever heard of Frank Abagnale? He was a con artist, so convincing he should have won an Oscar. So it's fitting that he was played by Leonardo DiCaprio in the 2002 hit Catch Me If You Can. Now get this, this con man actually managed to con his way out of prison. Thanks to some bozo forgetting Frank's paperwork, he managed to convince the guards that he was in fact an undercover prison inspector. This meant he got the best food and was always looked after. After weeks of building trust with the guards, he had an accomplice create a business card for him from the Bureau of Prisons. The card had a phone number on it which rang through to Frank's accomplice posing as an FBI agent. When Frank was allowed to visit with his accomplice outside of the prison, they hightailed it the fuck out of there, and he would have gotten away with it too if it weren't for those meddling cops. This con man extraordinaire was spotted after he walked straight past an unmarked police car. Number 4. Parkhurst Escape. A resourceful trio managed to escape from a maximum security prison on the Isle of Wight. They made keys to every door, just like that Korean guy in The Matrix Reloaded. Apparently they had copied the keys by sight alone. By sight! That's like fucking Rain Man shit right there. Okay, so while they were in the gym one day, they unlocked a door to the outside, and then they used a 25-foot tall ladder they had made to get over the wall of the prison. One of the escapees was a pilot, and so the plan was to steal a plane and then fly off the island. Unfortunately, the only plane they could find wasn't big enough for the 3 of them, and they didn't have a key laying around. So they tried to hide until they could come up with a new plan, but they were found pretty quickly. Still, these guys prove that we should all pay more attention in shop class. Number 3. Ted Bundy. On December 30th, 1977, infamous serial killer and nefarious necrophiliac Ted Bundy broke out of prison. This was his second escape, the first being slightly less gory and less awesome. He'd plotted and schemed, scored a hacksaw from a fellow inmate, and begged and scrounged together some cash. He lost 35 pounds, and he planned to fit into a 1-foot hole that he would cut into the ceiling of his cell. Bundy bided his time until just after Christmas, when the prison was deserted. He managed to get his way into the crawl space, and he found his way into the apartment of a jailer. He stole some clothes and walked out the front door like an off-duty guard leaving for the day. Ever the chameleon, it took 17 hours for anybody to realize that Bundy was gone. During the 6 weeks it took to catch him, he attacked at least 6 women.
Oh, that boy ain't right.
Number 2. El Chapo El Gano. Tunneling under a maximum security prison is a lot of grunt work, so it's a good thing El Chapo had a heap of minions on his payroll who were willing to do it for him. The gangsters in El Chapo's cartel built their leader a badass tunnel that led from the floor of his cell shower out to freedom. The tunnel was tall enough for him to stand in, and less than a meter wide. It had lighting, air filtration, and a modified motorcycle that El Chapo could ride to the surface on in style. I'm surprised it wasn't decked out with speakers that played "We Are the Champions" Mighty Ducks style. All this effort for their kingpin boss, and all he had to do was sit back and wait for his day to leave. He's like the Disney princess from the old days, before they developed, personalities and a sense of agency. Yeah, I've decided that in the next life, I want to come back as the leader of my own cartel. Number 1. The Great Escape of Stalag Luft. In 1943, 600 prisoners of war contributed to a plan so cunning and so ingenious that Hollywood later made a movie about it called The Great Escape. Not a very inventive title, but it was the 60s. The men created 3 tunnels out of the camp they were prisoners in, so that if one was discovered, the guards wouldn't suspect that there were others. The tunnels were 9 meters below the surface and took over a year to complete. Despite being a claustrophobic's worst nightmare, the tunnels had ventilation ducts, and they had reinforced walls. To construct the tunnels, the men used 90 bunk beds, 52 big-ass tables, 34 chairs, a shitload of spoons, and 1,400 powdered milk cans, just to name a few. The plan was to get at least 200 men out, but because one tunnel collapsed, and there were a bunch of other delays, only 76 made it through. Of the 76 people who escaped, 73 were recaptured, and 50 of them were executed to prove a point. I guess because of all that happened, one survivor said it wasn't really worth all the effort. Now I gotta say, as impressive as this feat was, the story does sound more like a depressing episode of Hogan's Heroes, rather than a whole entire movie. Well, at least to me. And that's it, everyone. Leave a comment below, or suffer my eternal wrath.
He's been sitting on the washing machine, banging a machete to lure her down. She asked why they'd come so quickly, and the cop explained that when she'd hung up the phone, the operator heard a second click of somebody else on the line. He was listening.